Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo 2014 here live from Brazil. Of course, we are still at Campus Party. I'm Cam Mondekoy, also known as Rotterdam, and with me is Sean the Apollo Clark, and we are gearing ourselves up for the final series of the entire group stage.
That's right, one game remaining in Group D before we move on to the quarterfinals, which we will cover today. After this game, we'll be going over to 2 of the first quarterfinals, and of course be continuing on with the quarterfinals and above from tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Looked like I just had a swim.
Yeah, I mean, I could say the same kind of. It's pretty hot here.
Yeah,
it's
some people
actually
have mentioned it as well, I think, throughout the entire weekend. I think everyone knows, but no, guys, we don't have a pool here. Some people think like
we did.
the Castle Live, you know, jacuzzi backstage for Brazilian ladies with us, but that's not the case.
I wish. I wish. Oh boy, I wish. Not the case though. One area that it is nice and cool though is inside that booth, which is where Bbyong is sitting, and he is, well, he told me before, he's here to revenge, as the Koreans say, revenge for his lost long partner, his lost long coach, who just lost to ABomB. And of course, Bbyong is going up against ABomB now, the Irish, the UK representative playing for My Insanity.
He seems like a really happy dude. It's the first time I ever met him. I actually saw him yesterday in the hotel, but I wasn't sure if it was him. And then today I spoke a little bit with him. I was like, hey, sorry I didn't say hi. I didn't recognize you. He's like, oh, no worries. And we started talking, and he seems really cool. I spoke a little bit with him about this series with Major as well. He just said, like, he kind of did a couple of things that were out of his own comfort zone. Like, normally he said I'd save the Immortals and the War Prisms and drop them on top of the tanks if I play against Mac, rather than in his base. He's like, I thought it would be a good idea. It's like, didn't turn out that great of an idea. Either way, that series was close, and I'm sure that if people look back at that game of Habitation Station, some of you might have missed it, some of you might have been watching already. You look at that final fight and think like, whoa, what a massacre that was. You know, everything from Protoss just died. I promise you, if he has 3 defensive High Templars, that is a completely different game, because Major cannot stim like that. He can't chase the Colossus. And on that moment, I felt he was starting to get in a really good position where he had double upgrades running. He had Dark Templars on the other side of the map. He already had pylons. So despite the final fight looking really one-sided against Major in the bio game, I felt with 1 or 2 minor tweaks, that could have been different. And yes, it looked like he just struggled against the coach from Bbyong, and people will tell me that I'm crazy for thinking he has a chance, but I do think he has a chance against Bbyong.
How much of a chance though? Is this 50-50 chance? Is this, you know,
35 to 40%.
35-40%, that's, I guess a lot of people would say that's rather large.
I mean, foreigner bias.
Foreigner bias, man. And Bbyong, of course, coming into this favored no matter which way we look at it, but it is Alex Thomas here. What a fantastic British name that is, Alex Thomas.
Every now and then some of these people just have like these perfect
it's just names perfectly British, that is. Alex Thomas. That is perfect. And he's here in Sao Paulo, probably suffering like I am, because it's blinking hot here and we don't really do very well in the heat.
You know, this is
British fellows.
This is not very British, but I actually think he looks a little bit like the German football player Müller from Bayern Munich. I don't know if you know how he looks, but he kind of has the curly hair as well, and his face is a little bit the same. But yeah,
no,
that's,
I do not know.
like
I'll have to Google.
This is the opposite of British.
After a little bit, after Google after a little bit. But there is one determined face to make it to the top 8. That's what we're here to search out for. With just 1 game remaining out of all of the group stages now, we will be completed with the 16-player group stage.
We're going to have 1 Zerg in the playoffs. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
1 Zerg, at least 2 Protoss, and maybe 3 Protoss, or we're going to have 4 Terrans. No, we already have 4 Terrans, maybe 5 Terrans. Wow, David Kim, are you watching?
Terran's overpowered.
I think it's time to tweak this race a little bit. Couple of things just a little too strong, Sean.
That is right. Terran is overpowered, as some say. And this man hopes that it isn't, because of course he would like to see himself move on to the top 8 here. And what a beauty that would be in Group D, having Major go through in first place, followed by ABomB. A massive, massive shock that would be.
2 foreigners on top in a group with 2 Koreans, and them being from Mexico and Ireland. I think if you were told that to anyone a week ago, they would have said you're crazy.
Yes, Mexico and Ireland top in the group. No, that's not the list of top-tier StarCraft 2 countries. Mexico and Ireland, definitely not. But we'll see what this man can pull out of his magic Irish hat.
I'm just really excited for this series. I hope that after winning that final series, despite it still being a little shaky, that he's getting in his comfort zone and that he can just play the best possible Protoss versus Terran, or at least that he's capable of. We can see he's smiling all the time. You can see that he's really pumped. Probably has a lot of adrenaline going through his body. I think he can do well, Sean. I really think so.
Do you think that Bbyong can get maybe a bit nervous in this regard? Because it is you know, I mean, whatever the case, it's still a Protoss player. He's in Grandmaster in Europe. If mistakes are made, Bbyong is out of here.
Yep, I definitely think he's a little nervous. Tournament life on the line. It's not very often that Bbyong gets the chance to shine at a stage like this. Do I have the scoreboard correct? Yes, I do. So I definitely think he's nervous. It will all come down to momentum. How is ABomB going to open? Will Bbyong be able to get a cheeky opening with a bunch of Wither Mines? Like if you can kill 5, 6, 7 pros from that point on, he's probably going to get in his rhythm, and there is a chance he's just going to steamroll ABomB. But if things go well for ABomB, if he fends off some early aggression, if he stabilizes in a nice economic position, I can really see him making this one hell of a series.
All right, well, let's find out if he can. So, introduction of the first player up here, playing for My Insanity, coming all the way from Ireland. There's, of course, ABomB up here to the top right. And then he challenges for a slot, for a place, a position in the round of 8, in the quarterfinals. He challenges this man from Korea, playing for CJ Entus. It is Bbyong. And we have the two players. I think this is a 4-player map, if you didn't know, with each corners being potential spawning locations. We have the Terran to the top left and the Protoss to the top right. What do you reckon are some key features for, you know, both sides that they would be looking at or thinking about when they know they're in these positions?
I think it's actually tricky, and this was exactly what I wanted to talk about, so I'm really glad that you brought it up. Because when I spawn like this, I'm always a little bit like, where should I take my third base? Often you take it over here if you're the Protoss, but this could be really annoying if you don't have high growth vision. The Terran can drop here all the time. Of course you can say you can solve that with a pylon and a cannon, but then units can run over this little bridge, and you might overcommit on a certain point, having too many units there. So I wonder where ABomB is going to drop his third base. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he decides to take it over here instead.
All right, well, we'll have to find out where ABomB does decide to place that down later on, if it even gets that far.
Yeah, exactly. We might just see some crazy Blink Stalkers, or, you know.
We may do. But Bbyong over here has gone for the 12 barracks and then the 12 refinery, allowing him just short of 50 gas as the barracks completes. But he will wait those couple of seconds to be able to build that Reaper. And he will be looking to get as much intel as possible. Of course, in recent times, Terran versus Protoss, Protoss have a lot of options, and Terran players are all about finding it out. Look at the SimCity, by the way. Gateway, pylon, and then you got the gas, and then the Cybercore up north, creating a wall off here.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's going to make it a little harder for those Reapers to be extremely annoying. I am not that familiar with ABomb's PvT. I watched him play against Happy, but that was a very unfortunate series for him. He couldn't really get things going. In the series earlier today, I also couldn't really see what he's made of. What I do know is that he loves Colossus openings. I spoke with him about that as well. He's just not a Protoss that enjoys opening up with High Templars. Of course, he likes to switch into them the moment he feels that he's safe. And I think, you know, with these spawning locations, going up to 3 bases with Colossus, that can be tricky. Sticking on 2 bases, that should be more than fine, though.
All right, well, the Reaper already knows pretty much in a couple of seconds here where exactly his opponent is. He's going to jump into the main base here, but the Mothership Core about to pop out. Won't be able to ward this away. Shouldn't really take any probe losses here. And now the Mothership Core does push it out, but the Reaper didn't really get too much intel. Didn't see if a second gas had been taken early or not. Does spot it, but it hasn't actually been mined from yet. So there's no immediate threat here from Bbyong, who will just now pop out with that Reaper and look to recycle its use.
Yeah, so far good Mothership core positioning. Of course, we can expect it from these players, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to be a Protoss player and lose at least 1 probe to a Reaper when your Mothership core is a little out of position. Especially when you cancel the Zealot as well, exactly like ABomB did.
Where is this probe going now, Rotti? It scouted his opponent to the top left, but it has decided to come down to the bottom left.
It could be for some crazy proxy. It could also just be for a pylon that, you know, you can already have those pylons out there, so you will have warp-in abilities throughout the entire game, which, you know, is just excellent. You want to get pylons all around, and the sooner the better.
All right, so from this position on, we have just a regular follow-up from Bbyong after his expansion has been taken. Second barracks has been added on, and then we have a tech lab. And concussive shell's been the first upgrade coming out here. And that kind of tells me that he's a little bit unsure what to expect from his opponents.
I'm confused by this, Sean. Could be that he wants to take a little bit of map control early on. Could be that he hopes he walks into a bunch of Stalkers before Blink is ready. It's not something I see very often.
Well, the Reaper has gone in and stolen the robotics facility here, so he definitely can turn this into aggressive. I mean, if he moves out on the other side, he can catch a couple of units.
All right, what do we see here? A Twilight Council being wiped in. I'm feeling Dark Templars then. Otherwise, there's almost no need to for that Twilight to be there.
Wow. All right. ABomB. See what this can, how well this can work for you. But we do have quite a few Marines, about 8 Marines moving out with a Marauder.
Yeah.
And that single marauder does have that concussive bomb, a concussive shell. And he will be looking to come over here to catch a couple of units. The Mothership Core does have enough for photon overcharge.
We're going to have a warp prism as well, so we might see some Dark Templars being wiped in the main. I'm still feeling DTs, it's just a matter of time, guys. Then we do see the Darkstorm being wiped in. He has to be careful here, because he cannot micro these Stalkers. I hope for ABomB that he's watching. Yes, he is watching. Well done. Those are the small things that matter so much.
And photon overcharge is activated, and these Marines and Marauders will back out for now. But of course, this Twilight Council and Dark Shrine completely unscouted here. I guess Bbyong did see only 2 Stalkers, a gasp taken on the natural, and must be wondering what the hell is going on here. He has seen the robotics facility, but of course that doesn't really tell him exactly what's going on. This could easily swing in different directions.
We'll probably even give him the opposite information that he needs, because if you look at the previous 5 PVTs, ABomB has always shown us he likes Colossus, but he shouldn't reveal the Warp Prism too early. That's exactly what he doesn't do. These Dark Templars can buy so much time for him, Sean. Of course, he's going to need a little bit of luck with maybe mules being dropped in a certain point. We're going to keep a close eye on the energy of these orbital commands, but I really like how this is shaping up, and I think that ABomB is putting himself in a good position.
Absolutely, and depending on how much damage he can do and how much he can slow down Bbyong, he's got the follow-up of the Colossus on the way here.
And this is even better. When all those units are out of position, sure, they pose a serious threat, but with Dark Templars on this side of the map...
the factory, he's going to give him a couple of seconds heads up here.
I mean, there is, of course, an engineering bay, but there is no missile turret yet. How much energy do we have? 42 and nothing. So just a single scan. If he sends a Dark Templar to the natural as well, why is he not doing that?
Oh, he's only dropped off 1 there, Rod. He's got 2 running down to the natural, so he's got 1 scan available now. And he's targeting down the stim. He's trying to build a turret on the natural.
Oh, getting stim would be really huge. Didn't even think about it. It's going to be so close. He should. He's not getting it. Wow. 2 seconds.
And 2 DTs caught on the natural here, trying to go for the turret. They catch the turret, Roddy.
That's a really good pickoff, because right now there is no detection for probably a good 10 to 15 seconds. Excellent opening here for ABomB. He's creating a massive advantage for himself.
And of course he's got the Colossus on the way, and Bbyong has just been stopped in his tracks. He's not really producing too many units. He's hurt his economy a lot, and he's in there, and there is not a scan available. DTs everywhere.
This is almost game-ending damage, as crazy as it sounds. It's going to be so hard for Bbyong to stabilize. You know, with a scan, he might eventually be able to get 1 turret up over here, but he is losing so extremely much.
Oh, and he gets the scan, and he does pick up one of those DTs, but there's another one down here. I remember that Warp Prism's just unloaded another Dark Templar in the main base.
Yep.
So
there is a missile turret behind the mineral line, but it doesn't cover these reactors, and he's going to need more scans. He's going to need more missile turrets.
And how do you think that ABomB can finish this game off? Does he try to go for an attack from this? Does he slow it down and take a third? Where's he going to go?
Take your time. Really, no need for risk right now. Taking a turret, spreading yourself thin is absolutely unnecessary. Just go up to Colossus, play this out, and pretend like this has never happened, and you're going to have the time of your life, because anything that Terran can do is 100 times weaker than it normally is.
Excellent start here for the Irish player, and I think Bbyong was not expecting this to come out. And well, the Dark Templar's still alive on the natural. I'm not sure where the Warp Prisms ended up going, but we do have a double drop coming to the main base.
Yeah, he picked it up with these Marines that are right now in these medevacts, but we have a Colossus here. There are not too many gateway units, but of course, 2 Colossus, more than enough. A Guardian Shield, wipe in a few Zealots. He doesn't even have to.
Yeah. And now he can start his 1-1 upgrades. He's got to be on top of his macro a little bit. He's got quite a little bit of money in the bank here for ABomB.
It can be hard as a Protoss, because you really want to be on top of those high Dark Templars. You want to pick off as much as you can. Then sometimes you forget that you still have to do stuff at home. But he didn't forget the most important thing, Sean, and that is pressing that C button for the Colossus.
Yes,
if
and he's got
it is the
3
C
on the
button.
natural. It is the C button.
I know these things out of my mind, but I wouldn't know it when I talk about it.
And all but 2 or 3 units there die. Another drop inside the main base here, and fair play. Bbyong is putting a bit of pressure back on here, but well, he's actually losing a lot of Stalkers here.
This is something I saw a couple of times in his series against Major as well. Of course, when you can get the medevac, it's awesome, because that means that you can trap the units. But ABomB gets a little overeager sometimes. I saw him blink like 7 Stalkers into a bunch of Stim Marauders. Yes, he did get the medevac, but a few Marauders still ran away, and losing Stalkers is pretty expensive as a Protoss. But it is still safe to say that he's in a position where, you know, he can deal with it.
Yeah, a few more Stalkers in the main base, I reckon, and then he can kind of look at taking his 3rd base now with 1-1 on the way. Twilight Council already in use down the bottom left, which means he can go straight into 2-2. And he is in a good position here, but what is Bbyong looking to do? Without a 3rd command center down yet, Dark Templar still being a pain in the backside. Where is he going to go? He's we can't, it has to be looking for more drops third base. I cannot imagine some form of two-base attack ever working against what ABomB has.
It's really hard because sometimes it just seems that every option you have is the wrong one.
And even not getting combat shields, I'm not sure if he's, okay, just now started to research it. Really, really bad position here for the Korean Terran.
Look at this Protoss army, Sean. 73 army supply. He still has Dark Templars that he could, you know, throw in the mix as well, so he could force out more scans. It's the last thing that Bbyong wants, as he's still down 17 workers. Yes, he has a reasonable economy right now, but it's nowhere near where it should be. There's no sign of a third base. Protoss is being aggressive in a phase in the game where normally, you know, it just wants to stabilize, it wants to keep that base alive. This is some great news for our European Protoss.
Yep, some fantastic news for him. And Bbyong just can't challenge that army. Not yet, not for a long time here. And I do like the aggressive nature that ABomB is over the other side of that, really putting the pressure on, preventing Bbyong from just going down and taking a third base, making mistakes like supply depots, which is currently missing. And Bbyong needs to find a way back into this game, but we have 2-2 on the way. The Templar Archives, we may end up seeing an SCV pull soon. Some kind of lucky hope that somehow, some way he can break through the Protoss wall, but with 5 Colossus, Archons at the go pretty much, and a fantastic economy behind this, it's almost impossible to break this.
Yeah, the second thing is as well, if he pulls SCVs and if he wants to attack, he still needs to scan on his way there, because, you know, ABomB could still be annoying, wipe in a few Dark Templars here and there, slice away. There's almost nothing that Bbyong can do. He can hope for this somehow, you know, absolute dream engagement where Vikings are able to shoot on Colossus uncontended for, let's say, 30 to 45 seconds. But I don't even see that happening.
Yeah, this 2 Dark Templars slipping past the front lines here, one to the natural, one to the main. And this nightmare of a game, this nightmare of a scenario for Bbyong continues on. And he is having a hard time from waking up to this. The reactor's going to burn out.
That's really bad
one
news.
Viking for you. And well, 2-2, closing in. Second robotics facility, Storm about to finish. Every single tool in the box is available now for ABomB.
Scan will go down, but every scan is a painful one, as he would rather drop mules. Even though he is mining out these 2 bases, right now Bbyong might just be like, you know what, I'm going to max out on 2 bases. Nah, okay, here we have that SCP pool.
And look at ABomB over here. The Great Wall of Cannons.
The Great Wall of Irons. I never knew they had one.
Yeah,
they need some hills in between. You need to go over the hill, then it truly feels Irish, right?
Oh man, this is one sick. Solid Irish defense. This is not going to be broken easily.
You don't want to mess with the Irish after
Don't mess with the Irish, man.
After they had a few pints, it's like a brick wall.
This army is fully loaded on Guinness right now, and it is not going to be stopped. The gloves are off. The punches are here. And well, here we go in. 2 double time warps coming in. Stalkers playing forward to get rid of the Vikings. And here come the High Templar. And if they get close, this army's dead, if not dead already.
Yep.
And the Irish disaster is crushing this. And it looks like ABomB takes map number 1 away from CJ Bbyong. And I don't even think he believes it himself right now.
ABomB 1 map away from making it into the quarterfinals here at the Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo. 1 map away from having 2 foreigners making it through Group D, and I think that's the... Well, I said it before, but that's like the last thing that a lot of people had expected out there. He's not there yet, let's not forget. Calling this a build order win is not fair because he executed it extremely well, but when this build goes unscouted and you do things the way that ABomB was doing it, you know, making it hard, making sure that the single scan does not allow him to get missile turrets up, does not allow him to be out of the woods like that. He did a really great job keeping the DT pressure on and on and on. It's a terrible scenario for a Terran to be in because once it starts, it's almost too late to react for Bbyong.
Well, this lucky leprechaun's found a pot of gold under his desk, Roddy, because he is currently leading 1 game over the favored player here, CJ Entis' Bbyong. And now, as you talked about earlier on, when I asked you, you know, who's going to feel nervous? Is it the underdog feeling nervous here? Is it the player that's favored? And you answered, momentum-based. And it is ABomB who takes map number 1 away.
How good do you think that feels, opening up with a bunch of Dark Templars and having exactly what you're hoping for? Not a single missed turret to be found, only 1 scan available, which is of course not enough to defend 2. And actually it's 3 locations, because people often think like, you have to defend your main and your natural, but there's a difference between defending your mineral line or like all your add-ons, so your reactors and stuff. So basically you have to worry about 3 locations. ABomB indeed found a pot of gold, and
he did find a pot of gold, and I'm pretty sure every single Terran player out there is hoping he's got a pot of water next to that pot of gold to wash his hands after that filthy, dirty opening, Roddy.
It was a little dirty, but
And here we have Bbyong, solid rock-faced right now, because he needs to slam this one home. He needs to slam dunk it. He needs to hit it out the park. He needs to put it in the top corner. He needs to hole in one. He needs to win.
This is a scary scenario for any Terran out there to be in. You have to win 2 maps in a row. Look at him, and he's shining. He's like a star. He's like, oh. He's so
if I
happy.
could do an Irish accent, I would. I'm not very good at that.
But he sounds pretty neutral, I'd say. Like, he's not.
I haven't spoke to him. He's,
really?
He's not Irish accent.
Not like heavy Irish.
With a name like Alex Thomas.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing. I know. Maybe if we give him 2 Guinness, then like the true Irishman comes out.
He's trying to hold it back, but we know inside that you have an Irish accent, Alex Thomas.
Like we said, it's an extremely scary scenario for any Terran out there to be in, having to win 2 games in a row against a solid Protoss player that can throw pretty much whatever at you. Just when you think that, okay, ABomB is this Protoss that always likes to open up with Colossus, he throws something as crazy as the Dark Templar, including the Warp Prism opening at you. And well, what's going through your mind right now? Now suddenly you have to worry about all these crazy Protoss builds again. Yeah. Is he going to proxy an Oracle? Who knows?
We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. So we are now loaded in to the second map of this best of 3 series. And up here to the top left, playing for CJ, is of course Bbyong. Looking to pull this one back, looking to equalize this series. And on the other side, we have from My Insanity, looking to pull a miracle. It is ABomB.
You know, Sean, I was really surprised that he kept playing, or that he played Habitation Station after he lost game 1 against Major. So I asked him about it. I was like, why do you like Habitation Station? Like, why didn't you veto it? He's like, I don't think it's that bad. That's mostly because he is a Colossus player as an opener. So having Colossus defending 2 bases here is not that hard. And even up to the point where 3 bases, you know, all your Colossus are at least in a line. They don't have to go run around the corner. Let's say what the case is with Altazim or Polo Knight, where your Colossus have to run around corners, which allows Vikings often to get free shots at them, like we saw earlier today between Colt and Hero. So that's his main reasoning. If he just wants to open up normally and he doesn't do something crazy, he wants to open up with Colossus, and in that case he prefers Habitation Station over maps like Polar Knight and Altazim.
Alright, so again from Bbyong we have a regular opening for him. We have the barracks, then the refinery ready for this Reaper opening.
You know what?
Sorry, you were going to say?
No, nothing serious.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that ABomb's only taken 1 assimilator for the time being. So with only a single assimilator, I mean, Bbyong's going to go in there and not feel super threatened from any potential early builds, whether it be an Oracle before the Nexus, Twilight Council before the Nexus, any sort of super aggression which could threaten his tournament. And then SCV.
No Zealot in production just yet. I wouldn't mind at all to see him throw down the engineering bay.
Well, there is a Zealot in production now. Yeah, that probe's there too.
But he's going to cancel it. Like this is like what Fuck does as well. At least, unless he chrono boosts out everything, he's going to lose that little fight unless he micros. That's exactly what he does. Man, they're teaming up in that poor SCV.
Yeah, 2v1's not fair. This is not a tag team match.
The Undertaker. The good old days, Sean, when we thought wrestling was real.
Yeah, man. The ABomB could be a name of a move that the Undertaker used, man. And he's going to land the ABomB.
Reaper makes his way across the map. We did see that Zealot get cancelled as the Nexus was walked in. We have this. Where's the Stalker? Okay, is this Mothership Core at first? He didn't even start a Stalker yet, so he's going to make the Stalker after the Mothership Core, which should be fine for now, I guess.
Yeah, and second guess has been taken here from ABomB as well, and he hasn't really favored any Stargate openings. In the games that I've seen, at least today, it's always been Robotics Facility every single time.
Yep, he doesn't seem to be a big fan of the Stargate, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, some players just don't feel comfortable. Of course, we all like having an Oracle early on, but sometimes it just feels like, hey, whenever I open up with an Oracle, there are Marines waiting for me, or he knows that's a great pickup there, so he doesn't have to stress about that Reaper anymore. And he may very well just hide something right now somewhere in his base, which is not the case. We see the rover being warped in, even though this probe, where are you heading, probe? Nah, probe is just scouting around.
Yeah, just having a look-see. And there is that Robotics Facility. So, Bbyong in this position, what do you think is going through his mind? I mean, he hasn't spotted the Robotics Facility. He knows his opponent has double gas. You think he's feeling a little bit worried about what potentially could be hidden in here?
I think 9 things are going through his mind, and one of them is right. And what was probably going through his mind is that this game is going to be normal. That, of course, ABomB will try to cut a few corners here and there. Scan even goes down, and that's a quick scan, by the way, guys. That's like before the 6-minute mark. You won't always get the information.
Oh,
that's okay. Well, mind games.
Yeah, hashtag mind games.
Some people do it, some people don't.
Same what last game as ABomB understands that Bbyong there had a quick look-see inside his main base, spotting that Robotics Facility. But it is not the same as last game, of course, as there's no probe or Twilight Council side on the map. So from this position now, does he take the bait? Does he think it's a Dark Templar rush, Rotty? Or does he call his bluff?
I don't think he thinks that, but it's still going through the back of his mind. He wants to make sure that that's not the case. But you know, you also don't want to let it drive you crazy. You still want to just play your game. You just want to be solid. Stark is microing against Marines in the middle of the map. So far, ABomB is doing a reasonable job. Took a little too much damage on one Stalker, but he picked up a Marine. So, and above all, he still secured the Zeltnaga Watchtower. Now this, I'm not sure if he always does that. He opens up with an Immortal over here. So he might be afraid of some early game pressure.
Yeah, well, he's got his Observer moving in now, and he is going to spot double barracks and then the Starport coming in. So the Immortal not necessarily super needed at this point, but it looks like he is going to complete it anyway and add it into his arsenal. I suppose it's not a bad unit to have.
It's excellent, especially on this map, because if Bbyong does get over-eager, and he might be able to land 2 good force fields over here, if you just have a few Stalkers, they could still melt against the Marauders that are shooting at them, but one Immortal will make quick work out of anything that's force fielded off, so I actually like it, and I think it's the right decision.
All right, well, Bbyong is kind of building the turret on the natural, so still at the back of his mind that potential opening is still out there for ABomB, but we're about to see Bbyong really get into his comfort zone now, and like any other Terran, once those medivacs are out and he's able to move over to the other side to put the pressure on and start to be able to drop all over the place, that's where he's going to feel comfortable. But that's where ABomB is prepared. He's got one Observer there, and he's got another one above it to spot for the comfort zone for the medivacs to come in. And if he's able to defend well, he might be okay. But he has got Blink. No Forges, Roddy, and this is something that we have seen from ABomB in a lot of his games.
It's hard. Like some people even in the past used to go double forge, but you just die against SCP pools. We do see double forge right now, but it's a little later. It is after the gateways, after he's already getting Blink on the way. Some people used to get it before those buildings, and that's just really risky. With double forge, he will catch up because he's a little bit behind right now. What I also think is interesting, he never puts his observers on patrol, and I think that's a small mistake because he could see a little more, which is important, especially on habitation station.
All right, well, one medivac is going to get away here, and one Stalker gets picked off inside the main base, and then one sentry, no force fizzle, Guardian Shield, and both of them do go down. Photon Overcharge activated in the last minute there. And small little victories here for Bbyong.
Little sloppy there because he had all the pieces in the right place. He didn't overcommit units in the main. He had 2 observers. He saw that medevac incoming. And you have to know that there is more than just a single medevac out there right now. So he should have been looking at his natural. He could have positioned those units a little better. Losing those sentries kind of sucks. Not the end of the game. It does kind of suck. A lot of gateways going down.
And he's also not, well, he's a little bit late on his +1 armor there. He made a bit of a mistake with that. He's a little bit behind the +1 attack, just by a little bit there.
Alright, Finance being warped in over here. 2 additional Rexes going down for Bbyong, also not showing any signs of dropping a 3rd base just yet. It's a very even game so far, guys. This game will all be decided in the first major engagement, or at least the first big skirmish, where maybe a bunch of Vikings will get the overwhelming number that they need to take out those Colossus, or maybe those Colossus will stabilize and Stalkers pick up the Vikings, and ABomB can create a lead for himself where he can safely but steady go into High Templars. But right now it's as even as a PvT could be. So Protoss is ahead.
It's even as in the... All right, Roddy. At this point, I mean, with the double forge coming in with his upgrades, is this not something which Bbyong, if he had seen, would be playing this out differently to how he is playing it now?
It is possible, but if there's one map where I think it's hard to make a big SCV push work, or a pool, it is this one. This is a small ramp. This is probably the smallest ramp out of all the bases, all the maps out there. He's throwing down his third command center. I think it's quite hard to do something about the double forge, because it wasn't like a super greedy double forge.
Yeah.
It's not like a 6-7 minute double forge. It was like past the 9 minute mark. So, you know, what can he really do? The only thing he can hope for is indeed canceling this third base once or twice.
All right, well, let's find out if he can get that, because Bbyong is moving over to the side here. And ABomB is ready, kinda, with a few units. The Colossus is obviously going to be helpful to come in.
He needs
and there's
those
no
Colossus.
Stalkers, there's nothing here to protect the Colossus at the moment.
A couple of Stalkers coming in. That's a good blink, I think, because it's out of range of these Marauders. One Colossus will fall, but I think overall ABomB should be doing okay. The Marauder is doing some serious work as well. Look at him, punching away those Marauders. I mean, the Immortal. Yeah, I did say that. Been a long day, Sean.
A good defense there, Roddy.
It's an excellent defense. That was a great blink.
A great blink indeed, and now the third base has been kept alive. He can start his 2-2. He's going for another Viking here. And a Marauder and a single Marine before looking to pull back.
This is starting to look really good for ABomB,
I mean,
Sean.
he's continuing forward here, isn't he?
Yeah, he has to be careful. Don't get over eager, because this army is very vulnerable against a lot of Marauders.
He's got a forward pylon here. And he's looking to see what he can get done. He's still got about 6-7 Stalkers. He blinks forward to the Vikings. One of them gets picked up. 2 Colossus remain alive. And the Immortal here.
An Immortal and 2 Colossus against only 3 Vikings. Bbyong is going to cancel that upgrade.
He's pulling in all his SCVs here.
Yeah, ABomB really has to be careful, though, because he could lose his entire
his
army.
Colossus. He doesn't want to lose the Colossus, obviously. Blink forward, right into the mix. One Colossus gets picked up. The second one is going to fall. And obviously, the rest of these units will fall as well. But how much damage is actually going to be dealt here by ABomB?
Zealot's doing some serious work. Look at this Immortal shooting at a couple of those Marauders as well. Excellent focus fire. So many SCVs went down. 64 against 31. Is ABomB actually going to be the second foreigner making it out of Group D?
This is absolutely unbelievable here. 97 supply to 74. Army supply very similar, but oh boy, is the economy super in favor of ABomB.
Yeah, I still think that was risky though there, Sean. He was playing with fire a little bit because his units were so exposed, and that Viking count was so low that if he would have just kept upgrading on double forwards, kept pumping out Colossus, and just denied his third base for a while, he would create a massive lead for himself. But hey, it turned out all good for him, man. He's 30 workers ahead, and he's still comfortably sitting on 3 bases. But this next push is a little scary because army supply 57 against 49.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there's not really too much longevity in Byong's game here. He doesn't have an engineering base, second engineering bay and armory. He doesn't really have any extra production coming down. This is kind of it.
Forward blink again. Units are a little too far of position. ABomB has to be careful though. Even though there are a lot of Zealots out there, Zealots can soak up shots. Careful with that Mothership Core.
If Bbyong doesn't crack ABomB in the next little bit here, then it's only going to go further and further in favor of Bbyong. I mean, of ABomB. He's got 2-2 on the way. He's got the Temple Archives about to finish up.
Ghost Academy is in production right now, but you know,
it's a long way away.
Yeah, and above all, what is the Ghost Academy going to do if you have no answer to these Colossus? Yes, he has a few Vikings. This is a good drop, I want to say, but another forward blink. He's going to sacrifice a bunch of Stalkers. He's losing a lot of Stalkers with these opportunistic forward blinks. But I mean, he is cleaning it up, and he is in a position where he can trade units for units, even when those Stalkers are pretty expensive, taking all things into consideration.
And now Storm starts 2-2, very close to finishing. And I mean, I'm just watching down there at the camera. It looks like ABomB taking a major, big breath of, I suppose, AC air.
Yeah, he has to feel as well that this is going good for him. He's getting everything right now, though. Look at this expensive production tab. There was a Colossus, Storm, second Robo, Dark Shrine, and 2-2 on the way. And he probably fires up 3-3 immediately.
Yeah.
He still has to be careful. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but Bbyong is building one more attack. That's what he's doing currently. It's one more attack to either equalize or lose this game. And ABomB knows it. He's throwing down more cannons, realizing what the hell is going on.
Like, I really like that second Robo, Sean, because I think that Bbyong is probably going to say, like, 10, 11 Vikings, this is it, that's all I need. But if he suddenly surprises him with 7 instead of 4 Colossus, or Colossi, I should say, then it's not going to be enough. And if these Colossi won't die, then ABomB is going to win.
And where are the SCVs? I know they're coming soon. Choo-choo!
Wow.
Say the SCVs, all of them are coming. This is all or nothing. Every single SCV to the front line. all ABomB needs to do to go to the quarterfinals to have a place in the top 8 here.
Storm is ready, but he doesn't have a single high Templar. That's okay though. All that he needs is just a lot of Zealots to soak up damage.
Just needs to defend this.
Maybe a good time warp, a photon overcharge would help out a lot. 2 more Colossi are on the way. He's gonna have 6 Colossi. I think this is enough. I think ABomB should be able to hold this, Sean.
All right, here we go. Bbyong's last attempt to stay in this game, and ABomB just needs to hold off. All the Colossus need to spray their damage, and look at this, with 2-2 upgrades, the Zealots are just charging straight for the throat. And every look, 4 Colossus alive, 0 Vikings, and ABomB is going to knock out Bbyong from the tournament and will advance with Major into the quarterfinals, advancing in 2nd place here, and he knocks out the heavy favorites. And look at that grin. Words cannot express his feelings right now. Fantastic victory.
Unbelievable, Sean. We have an Irishman and a Mexican making it out of Group D. 2 foreigners. Also evens up the race distribution a little bit more in the playoffs of this tournament. And one of the Korean favorites, where a couple of people were saying like, he might actually take the entire thing, will be eliminated in the group stages. My Insanity shows that it has a lot of talent on its roster. ABomB, one of the names that we're still a little unfamiliar with. Obviously a very disappointing lose for Bbyong, but fantastic for a young Protoss like ABomB.
Yeah, and as you can see, Bbyong just immediately leaves and goes backstage, but there is the congratulations from Jack G, teammate, and I suppose friend there. I think that it may have something to do with my Insanity. I'm not too sure who that other guy is, but
probably a manager.
Whatever the case, congratulations. ABomB completes our top 8.
That was really cool news. This also means that we are going to see a PvP between ABomB and MC later today. That's going to be really sick and fun. I really enjoyed this series, and Sean, I really think we kind of nailed it when we started. It all comes down to momentum. He obviously was a little more relaxed after he was able to defeat the Siege, and he just said, you know what, in game 1, I'm going to do something crazy here. I'm playing against a world-class Terran player. I'm going to try to make Dark Templars work. It couldn't have worked any better. It was almost a straight-up victory. And game 2, he was so solid, man.
Incredibly, incredibly solid. And ABomB has now completed the 8 that we have in the quarterfinals. That leaves us with a next game, which is actually coming up. It will be Jack G versus Port, a great TVT. And as you said, the 2nd game of the evening to round us up for tonight will be MC versus ABomB in the 2nd quarterfinal. And then tomorrow, CJ's Hero versus Major, and Liquid TLO versus Bomber. What a top 8 we have.
Yeah, a really top 8, and there's also a lot of potential for a ridiculously stacked semi-finals. Perhaps 4 of the names that I would have picked before the tournament started, but we're not there yet, and ABomB just shows us that you can never fill in a bracket until it's done, as he made the upset, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to at least see 1 upset in the quarterfinals. Either way, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's very nice for him. He's a very happy young little Irishman. First time that he flies that far to a tournament. I think it's kind of the same for Bbyong, but still, you know, Bbyong is supposed to make it out, and it's a huge upset, and I think it's really cool for him.
Yeah, and well, that's a great trip worthy from Ireland. It's not exactly close, is it, Ireland, all the way down here? It is a long flight, and congratulations to ABomB. A fantastic maneuver from him. And what do you think's one of his feelings right now? What is he going through after winning that? What's one of the first things after beating out such a favorite? What do you think?
Just full of adrenaline. That's the only thing. Like it feels like you're on an all-time high. You know, I don't know. You don't even know what to think or what to say. You're just super happy. But he's gonna have to calm down though, because we're gonna have to see him in roughly 90 minutes again, where he's going to have to play some PvPs. And I have no idea how good his PvP is, but I'm really looking forward to watching that series, because I think it's going to be really fun.
All right, well, that's us done now for the group stage. Stay tuned, because the round of 8 begins shortly.